Let's take a look at the Nerf Fortnite HR. And if you played the game, you know what the HR stands for. It's hunting rifle. That's something that we know about the Fortnite blasters, is that they code them because these are blasters based on items in a game, based on usually a real world counterpart. And this is Nerf. Now you'll notice that this has a very cartoony design to it. That's because it has the rough wrap on it. And no, you don't get the code for that in the game, in this box. It's just how the blaster looks. But it's bolt action, and we don't see that many of those options within the Nerf world. I think the last one was the Ultra Pharaoh. So let's get this out of the box and let's take a look at the Nerf Fortnite HR. When you open up the box for the Fortnite HR, you are going to have to put together some pieces. One of them is a removable barrel attachment point, which is something that we don't typically see with the Fortnite line. It's usually all built in, or it's a once you click it in, never leaves kind of situation. I think the Zesty is the only other blaster that I can think of in the Fortnite line. No. But yeah, it's a barrel attachment point, which is great. You don't get the same luxury with the stock. That is permanently affixed to the blaster, which is a little unfortunate because it is very, very stubby. Now the last piece, this is one of those click into place once, you can never get it out situations. It is the bolt action on the priming mechanism. That one makes sense because ultimately you need to have this to operate the blaster. You don't want this being something removable, or at least easily removable, therefore it could get lost, and then you could never really operate this well again. Unfortunately though, is if this breaks off, you're kind of in a tough spot. You would have to do some major surgery to this blaster to get it working again, so it does feel secure, it does feel quality built in, clicked in, but it's ultimately something that you're going to have to worry about long term if you are overly cranking on this thing. The last thing that it comes with is a 6-round magazine. It has this tiny little bit of orange just painted at the bottom of the magazine, and when you click it into place, you can see that the wrap kind of extends down there. It's not necessarily the most cohesive part for something so removable, but honestly, when you think about it, you could drop in a 6-round stick mag in this as well, and it would probably go extremely well. But like most Nerf Elite style blasters, because this is what this uses, it uses Elite style darts, and some very fresh looking white with the orange rubber tip at the top. So shall we, let's just put a couple darts in this thing already. Let's get an idea of what this is like, because I think that's the truest test of a Nerf blaster, right? So I've got 3 of the darts in my pocket here, and I'm going to fire 1 with the barrel, and then maybe 2 with the barrel, and then 1 without the barrel, see if there's any marked difference. I'm guessing there's going to be. So now we have it locked into place. Let's fire 1. Okay, so that is pretty typical of what we'd expect from a really long barrel Nerf Elite style blaster. Let's remove this, and the thing that I'm going to try to do is not lock this bolt into place and see if it still fires, because with the Pharaoh it did. Right, so all right, there we go. Oh, it's kind of stuck. What? There we go. Wow, okay, so I wasn't expecting that. It really needs to click in the back there. That is something that you need to note if you are using this blaster. I mean, this is the darts that came with it. I don't think it has anything to do with the darts. I think it's just the blaster and how this bolt action works. Now, this is still up. I haven't locked it into place. Let's see if it'll fire. No. So locking this down will make our trigger active, and this should go, right? Not bad. Now, it was an Elite dart. It veered wildly while it hit the other side of the room here. For the last one, I'm making sure that this bolt is all the way back, forward, locked down, and we'll fire it off. Okay, that was a much better shot. And yes, indeed, if you are looking for better performance out of this blaster, you need to leave the barrel off. It's just the law of Nerf. But unfortunately, if you leave the barrel off, it doesn't give you the same Fortnite look, the same Fortnite aesthetic, as if the barrel was attached. So I can definitely appreciate and see why most of the other blasters from the Fortnite line allow you to just click it in once and then have the blaster be an aesthetic piece. This just looks so much better when it's all put together. This looks what you're expecting from the Fortnite blaster in the game. And if we look beyond the wrap on this, the rough wrap, you can see really cool elements of design here that make this look like the blaster from the game. So you have the rivets, these screws that bolt in. You have the bolt action piece right here that works great. It is a fun mechanic. This is something that people have wanted for a long time in blasters, and when it comes around, very rarely, it's always a fun little extra bit, because we're used to priming at the top, we're used to a pump grip, But the bolt, that's still something novel. And if you look at the overall construction of this blaster, you can see it has those cartoony proportions that Fortnite is known for. Flares out at the end, and then it tapers as you get towards the back. I think that really lends itself to the video game look of it. The one interesting thing is that the handle on this is really big. It's not a big deal for me. Like, I actually like how the handle feels. It feels substantial, but I can see this getting in the way of some people who have smaller hands, smaller kids, stuff that this is primarily geared towards. There is the tiniest little jam door at the top here. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out for the most part, but it gives you an idea of how this bolt action works. So when you click it up, you can slide back the whole carriage. And here, let's try to do this on camera here. We'll slide back the whole carriage, and that is why it needs to click into place, because of that whole locking system. And if it doesn't click all the way back, you're gonna likely jam and you're gonna get stuck. It's not going to be a smooth operation for you. I'm gonna put this through its paces just a little bit more, and we'll talk about some final thoughts on it. As I was playing around with this, I found out this thing does slam fire, which was a surprise considering I thought that you had to have the bolt locked down to activate the trigger, but somehow I'm mistaken. Watch this. I have 4 darts loaded into the magazine here. I'm going to use this left-handed because it's the only way I can really operate it. So I'm going to squeeze the trigger, hold it down, and then when the bolt goes all the way forward, but not locked, it's going to fire the dart, so I can just keep going back and forth. And this makes this a lot more interesting. Just watch this. You saw one kind of fart out of the barrel there. That's to be expected. I don't think it was designed for this, but I think just by some miracle, it kind of works that way. What do I think about the Nerf Fortnite HR? Especially now, considering this is an older blaster. I did find this on clearance. So, you know, nowadays, compared to a lot of the other performance stuff, even just some of the stock elite level, or at least full-length dart size blasters, it feels underpowered. It feels a little underwhelming, but that's not what the Fortnite line is designed for. I've always maintained that the Fortnite line is more about aesthetics. It's more about having a piece of the game than it is having the most powerful, the most configurable, the most blaster that there is. You know, typically you're paying a little more for it because you have the Fortnite tax on it. You also have that with other branded stuff too, like Halo, as well as Star Wars. Those are more expensive compared to some of the more fully Hasbro-owned, or at least mainline Nerf blasters. So that's really not what you're getting for. And really the wrap on the blaster isn't a big factor to me. I do appreciate the cartoon colors, and I don't think that they could have gotten away with the game-accurate version without a wrap on it. It would have just looked a little too real. And with Nerf blasters, you want to have those cartoony colors, you want to have something more colorful. And I think what they did with using the wraps from in the game was a very smart, calculated move that not only makes it more toy-like, but it also adds more of an Easter egg, more of a nod to the game. I guess it's not an Easter egg, it's literally right on the box. If you're looking for something fun and you enjoy video games, you enjoy Fortnite and stuff like that, you should really enjoy using these Nerf blasters because they are the blasters from the game. So having the removable barrel is just a very nice feature. It's something that I don't expect in the Fortnite line, but when it comes around, it's just nice to have. So that's like one of the things that I really like about the blaster, is just that it's fun to use, especially the bolt action because we don't see that too often with foam dart blasters, and when it does come around, it's just a fun mechanical thing. It's not the most efficient way to prime and fire blasters, but it's fun. And when I'm looking at blasters, I'm looking at that fun factor. One of the things I would have changed about it is, since we are adding the barrel attachment point, just add the stock attachment point, because I think that is the more useful thing to include on a blaster, because oftentimes when these are built into the blasters, they are done in a way so that it isn't customizable or modifiable for people who are larger, people who are bigger. Adult collectors of these things, they are more geared to that 8 and up crowd, which is fine, but having the option for that is much better, I feel, than having the barrel swap, which does alter the look of the blaster quite a bit more than replacing a stock. And when we talk about things that I don't really like about the blaster, if I really had to think about it, the suggested retail price of this, without it being on clearance, was probably more expensive than a comparable blaster, even within Nerf, that wasn't branded. And that's something that you got to expect when you're getting a co-branded or at least a collab level blaster with another property. I'll bring it up again because Halo and Star Wars have done it, and same situation, right? You're getting a more expensive blaster because it looks more accurate to the media property that you're attached to than if it were just a blaster specifically focused on delivering the best performance, the best nerfing experience. This has to walk two worlds. So if you're able to find this guy on clearance, it's definitely a buy. But if you find this much later and it's like really expensive and you're looking for something performance based, definitely don't go this route. But if you are somebody who loves Fortnite, if you are somebody who's collecting the Fortnite line, I think this is a good inclusion. I think there's a lot to like about this here, and it's something different than what we've seen from other Fortnite blasters in the past, specifically because it has the bolt action. And if you like blasters, I've got a lot of blasters. There's even some Roblox blasters up there, 3D printed stuff, and then toys, collectibles, and all the other fun, nerdy things that just are just so much fun to collect. You gotta hit that follow button. You gotta hit that subscribe, because I'm just gonna be posting more videos like this, and you're not gonna wanna miss a single one. So that's it for me and the Nerf Fortnite HR. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.